Hi, welcome to Marker Board Videos. Today we're going to talk about different ways to take a word problem apart into its components and how to organize the information so it makes sense. So anytime I do a word problem, I always refer back to my college physics professor, Dr. Jeffrey Mallow, who taught me to do this. He taught me if you make a grid and in the first column you're going to list everything that you know. In the middle you list everything that you want to find out. And in the last column, you list any formulas that relate what you know to what you want. That will help organize your thought. Because when I look at a word problem, half the time I can't figure out what's important and what's not important. They give me a lot of information I might not need. So let's look at a couple of word problems. Here's a word problem. Mr. Foot and I want to go to Disneyland, and Disneyland is 400 miles away. So I know 400 miles. Now, I have to identify what 400 miles is. And I know that 400 miles is a distance, so I'm going to say D equals 400 miles. And I also know that when we go to Disneyland, I don't like to spend a lot of time in the car. I would say that about the most that I could spend in the car is 6 hours. That's about the longest I want to be in a car. And I ask myself, what is 6 hours? Well, it's a measurement of time. The question is that reasonable? Can we get to Disneyland if we want to go 400 miles in 6 hours? So what I'm really looking for is speed. I know that my formula for speed is distance divided by time. I have my distance and I have my time, so I can figure that out. So speed is distance, which is 400 miles, divided by time, which is 6 hours. So let's see how fast we need to drive to get to Disneyland in 6 hours. I've got my handy-dandy calculator here. 400 divided by 6 tells me that I need to drive about 66.7 miles per hour to get to Disneyland. So I use my know, want, and formula grid every time I solve a problem. If you want more examples of how to use a know, want, and formula grid, go ahead and look at some of the other videos I've made, because it gives you a really clear-cut, really easy way of doing know, want, and formula grid. Now sometimes instead of writing the whole word out, I will simply write the initials out, and that makes it a little bit faster. But every single time I'm faced with a word problem, I make a know, want, and formula grid. So it may look like something like this. I don't use a ruler, it's not pretty, but it organizes my knowledge and my information. Okay, so here's another example. On a distant planet, a free-falling object has an acceleration of 20 meters per second squared. Well, they tell me that's an acceleration, 20 meters per second squared. Calculate the speed, so I want to know speed, of an object dropped from rest. So that tells me my initial velocity is 0. On this distant planet, calculate the speed an object dropped from rest on this distant planet acquires in 1.5 seconds. So my time is 1.5 seconds. Okay, so I think I have enough information, but I need some formulas. So what kind of formulas do I know? I know V equals AT, and I know D equals 1/2 AT squared. So I know those two formulas. And I actually write both of them because at this point I'm not sure what I want. Now they wanted to know how fast. How fast isn't distance. How fast is velocity? It's velocity in a specific direction, but it is velocity. So I'm going to use this equation, and I'm going to say speed is velocity. Speed in a given direction. And if it's dropped, we know it's going down. So we can use this equation right here. So my velocity is acceleration, which is 20 meters per second squared, times time, 1.5 seconds. Seconds cancel out, so I'm left with meters per second. That's good because that's a measurement of speed or velocity. 20 times 1.5 is 30 meters per second. So after 1.5 seconds, my speed is my speed is 30 meters per second, and if I say my velocity is 30 meters per second going down towards the planet. Thanks, and have a great day.